It's quite cute to see Daffy Duck and Melissa Duck teaming up in the Yolks on You, but unfortunately for the other babies, it's not for a good reason. This is in the first segment of the 32nd episode of the first season of Baby Looney Tunes, and Melissa and Daffy are playing practical jokes, initially on each other, and I will say they were both in good spirits. When they played jokes on each other, they laughed along, they had some fun with it, and they also used the word hysterical quite a lot throughout this, which I think is quite a big word for maybe the youngest end of the target audience. So if it teaches young children the word hysterical, that's a pretty good thing. And they decide, instead of playing jokes on each other, they're going to play practical jokes on the other babies. And needless to say, the other babies don't really find it very funny. And the main message we have here is that something that may be funny to you may actually be quite hurtful to somebody else. And I think it's fine if, for example, like Daffy and Melissa, they both like practical jokes. So to play them on each other isn't so bad, but it's about knowing your audience. And none of the other babies like the practical jokes. So maybe they should have just stuck to pulling pranks and things on each other. There's also this lovely moment where they referred to Bugs as being, I think the phrase was leader of the pack or something along those lines, and that's something that I always felt. I always felt like Bugs was the main character, even though really none of them is the main character, but I kind of always just felt like he was. And I feel the same with the Warner Brothers cartoons, the grown-up cartoons, by which I mean big characters, not adult cartoons. And I always kind of feel like if I had to pick the one character who I thought was the most popular or the most prominent, I would have gone with Bugs. So I kind of like that the show maybe alluded to that a little bit. It is obviously an interesting episode because it's the questions are, what practical jokes are they going to pull next? But for me, as somebody who doesn't like practical jokes or pranks, I really appreciate the message in this, and I really applaud the fact that they're saying not everybody is going to find this funny, so stop it. If Melissa and Daffy like them, they can do them to each other. Absolutely no problem. But know your audience. Not everybody will like them. It's obviously a fun episode with a lot of different jokes and things, and it's very brightly coloured. For example, the snakes in the peanut butter jar, it was well animated, brilliant timing, and it's really nice to see Melissa and Daffy, spending time together, because it's not very often, usually because Daffy is on his own because he's stubborn and selfish and spiteful. But it was quite nice. Definitely a good episode with what I think is a really important message.